Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, welcome back to the 2024 Men's National Collegiate Volleyball Championships here at Long Beach State. In this session, we have the folks from Grand Canyon with Coach Matt Worley, Camden Gianni, and Nick Slight. And Coach, if we can have an opening statement on the championships for you.
Yeah, we're very happy to be here. Obviously, it's only the second time in our program history, and I think the body of work that these guys put in for the extent of the season, I think, is pretty special. And then capping it off with an MPSF championship against UCLA, only the second time in program history that we've beaten UCLA, and that was much better timing this time around for us. But we're happy to be here, and these guys are going to put on a good show.
Okay, we'll open it up for it.
Camden, Nick, Vinny Lopes here from Off the Block. Kind of piggybacking off what Coach Worley just said, you won the MPSF tournament. It's your second straight year in the NCAA tournament, but how much more confidence do you have going in this year, especially being a conference champion?
This team has gained a lot of experience through the last 2 years. Before this, thinking of an NCAA tournament was always something that we always dreamed of being a part of, and now for the second year straight, being actually a part of it is something that we're super excited to say that we've actually been able to accomplish. And then on top of that, the MPSF tournament championship was a great experience for us to come into this NCAA tournament and show the body of work, like Worley said, to the rest of the nation, how hard we've really worked to be here.
Yeah, going off that, I think having that tournament win definitely does lead into more confidence in this tournament. We know that, I guess, a loss last year to Stanford kind of got the hopes down a little bit. We were waiting to see if we got in, but this year with that win very much, I guess, drives us in the practice gym and then going into Ohio State.
Talking about Ohio State, question for everyone on the panel. You've had an opportunity to look at some film, played them last year, a little different team obviously, but what's the biggest stuff that stands out in your mind having played against them, watching them on film?
Yeah, quickly just about it. I think that our teams are so comparable. If we're both playing the best volleyball, it's going to be a dogfight. There's no question about it. They play with a big chip on their shoulder. They run their mouths a little bit. We do as well. So just across the board, I think talent, skill, all of those things just are very, very comparable, and who's going to be able to string it together for a whole match.
Yeah, I think we know that they have some guys that have had a lot of success in their college careers. I know you see some of the names like Jacob Pester, Cole Young, and Michael Wright, who have definitely been very strong for them all year, and knowing their offense is a little bit like ours, like to go to the outside, like right in the middle of the court with big name guys. So I think we do a good job of preparing for that in our own gym.
Last year when we played them, I unfortunately wasn't able to make that trip. So they're a little bit of an unfamiliar team to me, considering that they're in the MIVA and I don't really get to see them first glance. But being able to trust the guys and trust what they were able to do last year and kind of manipulate some things into what they've been able to accomplish this year and really ride that as a team is something that I think we're all really looking forward to do and really take advantage of the opportunities that we have.
Nick, I want to ask you, this is your first
Just get my feet under the ball was going to be a big thing, try and depth perception it. So just being good with my feet is going to be a big thing today.
And then, Coach, I want to ask you about Nick. I feel like maybe not the casual volleyball fan knew about him until this year, and now everyone knows about him, what he can do. What has Nick done that's really expanded his play and made him one of the top setters in the game?
I have to give him a compliment. That's hard. Honestly, our relationship over, I guess, the past 5 years now, because I actually was fortunate enough to work with Nick for Southern California High Performance years ago. He's made tremendous strides just as a young man, I think more so than anything, in finding a way to lead his teammates. This year, he has been the best leader that he's ever been. So I think that attributes to guys wanting to also play for him, not just with him. So he's got the best out of some of these guys, and I think the leadership role has only just made him that much better.
Camden, I know we spoke last week, but I want to bring up a topic that we discussed. Coming here to Grand Canyon, you talked about wanting to build this program. What would it mean for you to not only get your team here again, but to win an NCAA championship?
That's only something everyone would dream of, being within the college athletics. Being at the NCAA level, not just Division II, Division III, but being a Division I athlete and being able to see the growth that GCU has had, not only in my life, but also see how this program has transformed is something awesome to be a part of. So it would mean the world, and I think anyone that could be in a situation like we are or has even won a national championship would say it's everything that they've ever wanted within athletics.
And then, Nick, I want to ask you, you've had a really great connection with your Mills this year. Can you just talk about the job that your Mills have done in really helping you run a balanced offense?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're awesome. They're super fast. They're up early. Talk to me about what they need. I think a big thing for us is that they're so undersized and athletic compared to the standard middle nowadays you see in men's volleyball that makes their drive even better. And I think, again, with us at Grand Canyon, always knowing that we're not always been the biggest recruit names, they have that little chip on their shoulder, and they have just these intangibles that are amazing to set. And I think, again, I like running a fast offense, and they're up super fast and fun to set.
Camden, I want to ask you in terms of the serving game. Ohio State has some pretty good passers. When you're going up against a team with excellent passers, does that change your mindset at all in terms of placement or anything along those lines when you're back there?
Over the last few games, especially towards the tail end of the season, our serving mentality has changed based on the teams. So there's teams where we can take a little bit more off and trust our deep block defense. And then there's games like UCLA last weekend when we played them. And it wasn't so much of ace or air, but it was more of controlling it. And then when you feel like you have the comfortability to actually go back and take your best serve, to trust that. So playing a team like Ohio State, they've got people that can pass balls, but just like any other team, there's weaknesses. So being able to find the weaknesses and really trust the team, and not just my serve and my arm, and same with other guys, but just being able to trust the team and trust what has gotten us here so far.
Coach, I want to ask you, you mentioned it, talked about it a little bit earlier. I know you have great respect for your opponents across the net, but you all aren't afraid to do a little chirping. Well, I ask, how much of that, kind of having a chip on your shoulder has kind of helped motivate you and your players to continue to build this program that, isn't necessarily the blue blood, but is coming for all the blue bloods?
Yeah, it's fun to recruit these guys that want to go prove something to those big names or Power 5-4s, whatever you want to call them these days. Like, it's fun to have these guys in the gym, and we just always talk about leaving proud of what our effort is. And you leave you're leaving practice proud. You're leaving your homework, whatever you're doing at that time. If you're doing chores at home, if you're in a relationship, like, just being proud of what your effort is and everything that you're doing is something that I think these guys have really bought into. And the thing about, these guys, and we talk about, undersized, like, these guys are fun. And we talk a lot about character too. So they might be chippy and it might look like these guys are not good people, but these guys have the best hearts. They're playing tough, gritty volleyball. But after the match, I know both of these guys are friends with pretty much everyone on the other side of the net as well. And I think that's what makes it special. Like, we're out there trying to win, but in the end, it's like everything stays out on the floor, and, they're all buddies again.
One final question for me. I had my 6-year-old come up with a couple questions because it's me today. You're going to get one off the wall question. So my 6-year-old wants to know, what was your favorite class or subject in elementary school?
Oh, mine was social studies. I know, I enjoy the maps and all the history and kind of stuff that goes into this United States, and I love coloring. So in social studies, you always got to color in certain places in the world, so that was mine.
Any athlete would probably be PE, but I also like math quite a bit. So.
Okay.
When you guys think back to getting ready for Virginia last year, how did this week of practice compare, the vibe and everything feel, and the trip out here and arrival for both of you guys?
Yeah, I think I can start with that. I think last year it was so unknowing. It was very unfamiliar territory for us, and I think we kind of went in there like, oh yeah, we're happy to be here. And I think this year, knowing that there's a goal that is that national championship, so I think the preparedness was a lot different. I know our week schedule is a little bit lighter, but knowing that we're going in, getting the touches we need, putting in the effort that needs to be done is a big thing. So, I think this year compared to last, like you said, it's very different. So.
Last year, getting off that plane and getting onto the NCAA bus, I think everyone was on a high the whole week. And this week, this tournament, we bust out here, and I think everyone, and I've already had a few conversations with some people about it, the feeling's different. It's not just one of those things where we're going and we're on a field trip and we got shiny things in the corners. We're here to do what we've been doing all year.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.